Hey everyone, welcome to our new Thursday Drops, featuring tips and advice about topics that will make your adventures more fun and enjoyable. Topics like photography, how to pack efficiently, etc. We'll bring these to you on Thursdays, but not necessarily every Thursday. If you have a topic you want to learn about or a guest you think we should have on to talk about something entertaining and educational, drop us a note on the socials. Love to hear from you. We're kicking this off with episode 513 with photographer Sergio Ballivian. In addition to shooting for destinations, brands, and publications, he also offers photography expeditions in South America, particularly focusing on Bolivia. Sergio, how you doing today?
Hey, Rick. Good to see you again, man. How you doing?
You too, man. You're in Colorado, eh?
I am. I'm enjoying the nice spring weather. Lots of rain lately.
Same. We've had the same here. Yeah. So let's start off with your approach to visual narratives during your Bolivia and Patagonia tours. How do you pull that off?
The way I learned when I was part of the support staff at National Geographic, I met a lot of photographers and I got exposed to how they looked at how to come back with stories. Now, nowadays, no one gets 3, 6 months or 8 months to do something. They get maybe a week, 2 weeks, and they have very limited budgets and limited time. So what I taught myself when I was doing my own thing, I just gave myself mini assignments. So every day I decided I got to come back at the end of the day, whatever I'm doing, whether I'm traveling to a destination or I'm there, or I'm meeting with some locals, or I'm looking for some kind of landscape. I need to come back with one photo at the end of the day that is publishable in a magazine or a book or
Out of the
on
hundreds that you
whatever.
shoot.
Yeah. So I gave myself mini assignments and I said, okay, I got to be able to tell a story anywhere from 3 to 5 frames at the end of the day in order to have a cohesive story that covers the who, what, where, when, and why. But out of those 5, you got to have one that's going to be the lead photo that kind of explains what you're up to. All the other photos are going to support each other, but they all have to stand by themselves as well. But you got to be able to tell stories. So when people are scrolling through a phone or looking at it online or maybe a magazine or a book or whatever it may be, whatever the medium is, they want to get the gist of it real fast. You don't have the luxury of time anymore.
Right.
So time is your friend, but it's also your enemy at this point. And you need to be able to say, okay, these frames say these things, and this is part of the whole story. Yeah, you can take a lot of photos of a bunch of people that you're with. You can take a bunch of photos of the locals that you've met, or you have a bunch of landscape photos, or maybe the time when you're traveling to and from the area. You can have all those things, but you got to have one photo from each of those moments that tells what's going on. For example, if you have to go climb a peak and you have to have an alpine start. So you need a photo that says, okay, it's middle of the night, people are packing up. You got to get the shot that says, okay, we're on top of a glacier and sunrise is coming up and there's a little bit of light, but everybody's wearing headlamps and the wind is blowing. That's the photo that says where you are and what you're supposed to be doing. If you have the opportunity or the luck or the design, you can explain further in a little caption, or it could be explained further in a longer text. But that photo has to say a lot of things, and usually it has to be a layered photo, I think, the foreground, middle, and background, and it should speak for itself. That's how I look at it, and that's how I make sure I am pushing myself to grab that photo hard. I need to make sure I got it.
So that puts a lot of pressure and importance on patience, context, and anticipating moments. How do you, because you got to be up before everybody else, right? And how do you work all that in? Do you
Everybody,
visualize the photo ahead of time? Do you have an idea?
yeah, you definitely have to visualize what's going to happen. You have to understand, okay, where's the sun going to come up? Where does it set, etc. What you're going to be doing the next day. You have to talk with your teammates. Okay, what time are we getting up? Okay, we're going to get up at 3. Okay, so you need to get up at 2:30 or maybe at 2. Get up, get your gear on, have your breakfast with them or before them, but you need to be shooting as soon as you're ready before they start, because by the time they're getting their stuff done and they're getting out and they're stepping out of the tent or putting on a crampon or putting on a life jacket or whatever it is that they may be doing, or packing up a Jeep or something, you got to be there shooting that when they're doing it, as they're doing it naturally, as opposed to a setup shot. Sometimes you can tell what a setup shot is, and sometimes you can't. So sometimes you miss the shot. Hey, can you do that again? Can you throw
Right.
that bag up on top of the Land Cruiser one more time? Because
Right.
I got this nice silhouette and I missed that sparkling sunshine, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll do that three, four, 5 times until you get the shot. But you should try to get it and understand. So there's the anticipation part. You have to anticipate what's going to happen before it happens. So you put yourself at the right place and you line up all your elements in the right location. You're going to be to the right, to the left, above, below, in front, inside the vehicle, outside the vehicle, or whatever it is, or maybe you're inside the tent or whatever the situation is. You got to anticipate the action and you got to focus. Okay, what's the part that needs to be in focus? Is it going to be the background, the middle ground, the foreground? And are you going to shoot it real fast so you can't stop the action, or you're going to do a slow motion type of thing? So you have to understand how to capture that with your camera. So you have to know how to dial in your camera to get the kind of effect that you want. Are you going to use a flash? No flash. Are you going to use a reflector? Are you just going to go ambient light? Are you going to use a tripod? Are you going to handheld it? All those things you have to take into consideration with the type of photo that you think you want to get. That knowledge comes with practice. But some people are natural at it and some people have to work hard at it. I
That's
I
true.
have both. Sometimes it comes to me naturally and sometimes it doesn't. And I have to work hard at it and make sure I get the shot. But if I miss that shot and say, okay, I missed it, but I can get the next shot. So I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what's coming up next. So I know what's going to happen.
How has that changed? Because you've been a photographer for years now. So how has that changed over the years for you? Obviously, the more experience you've got with on expeditions, so you see how those guys operate and how the morning goes and the midday goes and the evening goes. That probably helps a lot.
Yeah, usually the best way to make all this stuff happen is to make sure that you are integrated and part of the team effort to get the
Mm.
stuff done, part of the logistics, part of what you got to do as a team together to get up there. And you can't be just like out of the action, but you have to be near it. Maybe you're not the action, you're not aiming the camera towards you, you're aiming
Right.
towards
Right.
them. But if you're doing something as a team, you have to be either ahead of them, within them, or behind them. So
Mhm.
you have three different positions that you need to take. Or maybe you want to, as an example, catch him going up this ridge and it's going to be a silhouette and the sun's going to be cool and you have some mountains in the background. You need to be across on the other ridge to get that killer shot with a telephoto lens. And
Right.
how are you going to get there? Because from where you are and where that shot's going to be, you can't be with them to get the shot that you want. So you need
Mhm.
to say, oh man, I need 45 minutes or 15 minutes or 3 minutes to get across behind the tree over that rock so I can get the angle I want.
Right.
So that's important. And you have to tell them, okay, I'm going to get the shot. Can you guys leave in 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes? I'll be ready for you. And when
Mhm.
you agree on a time, you got to be shooting or you have to have some sort of communication,
Yeah.
hand
Yeah.
signals or lights or walkie-talkies or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot goes into planning, even those simple shots.
Yep, exactly. It's very important. And there has to be clear communication. You can't get in the way of what's happening. You have to be
Right.
supporting it, not getting in the way of it, because then you're going to affect what people are doing.
Mhm.
In some instances, it's not an issue. Okay, so yeah, you messed up and okay. But in some instances, it could be dangerous.
Oh
And
yeah.
you don't want to be in a situation in which you put yourself in danger or someone else, or you cause a breakdown in logistics or things like that. You have to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. They can't be saving your butt when you're trying to take a photo,
That's
for
right.
example.
It's just a photographer. They'll let you go.
Yeah, just
Tumble
cut him
down.
loose.
And so, how about building a photo story in 5 frames? Do you visualize that? Like when you first get to camp, you must be looking around, visualizing, thinking, okay, tomorrow the light's going to do this in the early morning, the sunset's going to do this. Do you visualize all that ahead of time so that when you get to the spot, you have an idea of a 5 frame sequence you want to get?
A lot of it depends on what kind of research you did. If you're going to go to, for example, going to the salt flats in Bolivia during the wet season, you know that the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. And if you've been there, you know where you can set up the background shot or where you're going to be and stuff like that. Where you might be camping or you might be hoteling it, or you were going to be doing the shots. You know where you need to be for those things. So you anticipate, okay, this is going to be the best shot for people to do this thing, and you need to capture that. So you already anticipate where you need to be before you get there based on past experience. Now, if you're going to someplace new and you've never been there and you're all going as a team, either together or you go as a team in separate routes, but you meet at one point, you have to visualize, okay, are we, for example, camping in a meadow? Are we camping on a ridge? Are we camping on a glacier? Are we going to do a sandbar on a river? Or it's going to be behind some sand dunes here or there? Or it's going to be like a Rocky Canyon kind of Utah. Okay, where are you going to be? So you have to think through that, and hopefully you've talked through with your team where you're going to be, where you're going to camp, why you're going to do that, why you're going to be setting up at that place. If they have an objective, okay, we're going to camp here and we're going to climb up there, or we're going to go over here for the sunrise shot to get this best landscape, then you anticipate those things. And if people have been there, that helps you. If not, you should pull out some maps or you do some research and say, hey, I need to see photos of this location. What's it going to be? Am I going to be in deep forest all the time? Or is it like a wide open glacier? Or is it things like that? You got to do your research and you got to talk to people, especially the locals.
Yeah, that's great advice because I think a lot of photographers think they can just step in and wing it. And you can, but you won't get those iconic images. In order to get really good quality iconic shots, you got to know where you are, what you're doing, what the light's going. It's a lot of research.
Yeah, as an example from photographers who have done long-term assignments, and I can only speak from the people that I've met who are proper photographers for National Geographic, their research period took them weeks and months before they even got on a plane. And they had to have a plan and they had to have an idea what they were going to shoot. They knew what they wanted to shoot. If they're going to Ghana and they want to do this, okay, what are we going to shoot? Are we going to do the forest? Are we going to do the ocean? Are we doing fishermen? Are we doing hunters? Are we doing craftspeople? Where are they going to be? Inside, outside, this kind of stuff. You got to do your research and you have to understand what you're getting yourself into because there's a lot of great photos that can be made. And a proper photojournalist, which I'm not, can go into a situation and shoot and come back with a photo that needs to be on the front cover of the newspaper tomorrow. If you're not a photojournalist, you can still tell stories, and it doesn't have to mean that you have to be a photojournalist, but you need to be able to anticipate, plan, and execute. And that takes a lot of experience. But how do you get experience? By having experiences. You have to go out there.
Get out there, yeah.
Some people get lucky and you get that one killer shot, but can you do those killer shots every single time you get out? Hopefully so.
Yeah.
And then when you want to put together a sequence, you think, okay, in this event for today, we're going to go from A to B to C, and we get up here, we go through here, and then we camp here. So within there, you already have 3 shots. You have the shot at camp, the shot traveling to your location, and the shot at camp or getting to camp, and you have 2 more shots in between. So with that, you should be able to tell a story of one day, one event that happened. It could be your people that you're with, or it could be the landscapes that you saw, or the animals that came by, or whatever it is that happened. You should be able to put it together and say, okay, this is what happened in a 24-hour period, and this is how it's captured. Like that book series, A Day in the Life of Australia or China, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those are fabulous because you had dozens of photographers going to one location, and in 24 hours, they had to capture the best they could wherever they may be, and then they put a book together and say, this is what happened in 24 hours, and these are, I forget how many, but let's just say it was a couple of dozen photographers. So each one had a story to tell where they were.
Yeah.
And so that's an important way to look at it. What can you come back with in 24 hours?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah. Thanks for those tips. I appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you next week.
I look forward to it as well.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast. Be sure to visit our website, ricksays.com, where you'll find show notes and links to everything we talked about and more. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, give us a rating on Apple Podcast or spread the word and tell a friend. That would really help us out too. Be sure to tune in every week, and thanks again for listening to the Outdoor Adventure Lifestyle Podcast.